The Fargone podcast, presented by This Is Coffee. Premium instant coffee meant to be enjoyed outside. Get yours at thisiscoffee.ca. Alrighty, well, another day and another episode of the Fargone podcast, and today we got a beautiful face, and that is Mr. Trevor Carlson with that mustache popping this morning. How are you,
Yeah,
man?
I'm good, man. You're too kind. Too kind.
Hey, I'm just trying to pump some tires here so we can get some good info off of you throughout this next little bit here. So,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
dude, how have things been going? Well, this is actually podcast attempt number 2 because we tried number 1 at Whitetail Camp here this year, and sadly, we just kept running into technical issues. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
podcast attempt number 2, let's do it.
All right. Yeah, that would have been fun to do it in the camper, in the scout camper, but to no avail.
Dude, I know. Hey, next time, we got to figure out some camera issues. Frickin' Sony's, man, they just love to overeat.
But that's all I've ever had. So,
Yeah,
but
there you go. Dude, so how's the season been going? How's the last little bit been going? You just came fresh off of Whitetail Camp too, that I think turned into a little bit of a different hunt than originally intended. Kind of how's the last little bit been going for you?
the last little bit picked up good. So, yeah, I ended up shooting a buck on November 26th
Hmm.
with my rifle, which is actually the first whitetail I've shot with a rifle. So that was kind of
Well,
fun.
there you go.
Yeah,
Are
and
you
then
proud of that stat then? Are you like, hey, I needed to get one done with the rifle? Or are you like, I kind of wish it was with the bow a little bit just to keep the streak going? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, with that one, I actually was muley hunting or was planning on muley hunting that day, and I couldn't get up the road I wanted to get up, so I ended up going to my whitetail spot, and I was gonna run home and grab my bow because I usually have it with me, but I didn't that day, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I don't have time, so just went into my whitetail spot and did some rattling and grunting and came right in. It was like a 20-minute hunt, so not much of a story there, but
So you're heading out muley hunting, and next thing
yeah.
you know, you're in pursuit of a whitetail.
Yeah, I was got stuck and had to turn around and ended up whitetail hunting, but, usually I have my bow in my truck, and I was thinking about running home to grab my bow. I'm like, "Ah, there's no point. I've had a rough season so far, so I might as well just keep all the odds in my favor," and took the gun out there, and yeah, it was good, so
Dude, there you go, man. Hey, and it's meat in the freezer, right? It's the best.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, dude. Hey, well, I would love to hear a little bit more about kind of your story, man. Like, what originally got you into hunting? Like, I first heard about you through Dave, and he was like, "Man, like my buddy Trevor, man, like, well, actually, I think it was a coastal bear hunt that he just came off of, and he just started raving about you guys. He's like, "Yeah, man, Trevor, dude, like, he just got it figured out. Like, it's like his whole life. Like, the guy can just get." Yeah, he just does the whole thing, you know? And dude, it's interesting, man. Like, I would love to kind of like hear what got that addictive bug for you. What was kind of like, what was your first harvest like? What did everything along those lines kind of happen? Like, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, so the beginning would be actually my little brother. He got into hunting before me as a youth hunter with his one of his best friends from school. His dad would take them out when he was like 10, 10 or 11 when he shot his first deer, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta do this," and I was still chasing the dream, racing pro motocross here in Canada, and having a bit of a rough go with that, and ended up I mean, I got hurt a lot, but the concussions ultimately took me out of racing.
Okay.
From there, yeah, I gotta back up here, so yeah, my little brother, he got me into it. He was always bugging me about starting, and then when my racing
At
kinda
what
slowed
age
down,
was this?
uh, would have been 2012,
Okay.
2011, 2012. 2011 is when he shot his first deer, and then
Yeah.
2012, I got my hunting license.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah, it basically sprung from me knowing that motocross was gonna end soon as far as
Yeah.
the professional aspect of it, so
Mhm.
I was trying to, like, figure out what kinda stuff I like because 'cause I'd just been all motocross all the time for
Yeah.
forever. I quit every other sport I played. I grew up playing
Yeah.
hockey and baseball and stuff and started racing kinda later in life as far as motocross goes. Usually kids start at, like, 5, 6 years old, and I started at 14 and did my first pro race at 17. Yeah, so anyways, when racing ended, I kinda was down and looking for something to get into, and my brother pushed me into hunting, and I got out, on my first hunt in 2013, and it was kinda like just me and my little brother. So he was a
Yeah.
youth hunter. I would have been 19 at the time, 19 or
Okay.
20.
Yeah.
And maybe I was 21, but either way, we went on an archery mule deer hunt up near our parents' cabin, and
Sweet.
just we didn't know what we were doing. Like
Yeah.
he got down with a rifle because he was a youth, and I had my bow, and I always said like if I got into hunting, like why would you use a bow? That's so silly. Like
Yeah.
just use a gun. And
I was gonna say you got right into the bow thing your first hunt, you're walking around the woods with a
yeah,
bow.
yeah, and I actually it's kind of a funny story, but kind of a sad story too, because I arrowed a buck on the second day at
No
15
way.
yards. Yeah,
Whoa.
and, I hammered him, like, it was
Yeah.
15-yard shot, and the arrow went
Yeah.
right through, stuck in a tree, there's blood everywhere,
Yeah.
but, we couldn't find the buck after just
Whoa.
I think due to our inexperience and tracking,
Yeah.
like, he had
Yeah.
only shot 1 deer, and I
Yeah.
was, really green. I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
I guess the
exactly.
year before that, technically, I started hunting, but I just drove around Harrison Lake with a buddy,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, for a day. That was my extent of
Exactly.
hunting. Yeah, so,
You're like, "I'm a
anyways,
hunter now."
yeah, exactly. So the next year, I ended up arrowing a buck, and,
Sweet.
couldn't find him, and it was a big bummer. But,
Dude, was it a
yeah,
nice buck too?
just like a kind of a
Was
tall velvet 2 point,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
for I mean,
dude, for a first deer and with your freaking bow too, that one's gotta hurt a little bit, man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it did, but from there, you like, I think some guys would maybe get discouraged from that and maybe, like, pack it in or at least
Mm,
be like, "I'm not bow hunting anymore." I've heard stories like that, and, if anything, it was like a transfer of passions from
mm,
racing to hunting. I'm like, "This is what I
yeah,
do." So, yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that
Was
was
it
kind of the
like
beginning of it.
Did it kinda have, like, this, thought of, like, "Hey, now this is" I know that you're saying that this kinda turned into your thing then after
Mhm.
obviously taking that from motocross, but was it almost like being able to have an opportunity to arrow a buck, like, pretty quick on 2 days into your archery hunting career? Was it more of like a, "Yeah, obviously that sucks what happened and I wasn't able to recover this deer, but the fact that I was even able to get into a stock and into a shooting opportunity, was that, like, a pretty big encouragement for you, or"
It was, yeah, it hyped me up pretty big, so obviously, I was done hunting after that, but, my brother and I kept going, and he ended up shooting a nice, like, 4 by 3 with his
No
rifle,
way.
being a youth hunter. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so that was, like, even just the stoke was just building.
yeah.
I was getting pumped up, so
Dude, how did you guys know, like, even like, did you have any knowledge, anyone telling you guys, like, it sounds like this is kinda one of your first trips and you guys are getting into 2 opportunities. Like, did somebody give you a zone? Did you guys just scout? How did you, like, even know where to hunt? Like, if you guys are both green hunters at this point.
yeah, it was mainly the decision was made from, like, okay, well, I don't actually, my parents didn't have the cabin yet. It was the next year they bought the cabin up at that lake. But my brother had been there a bunch with his other friend who doesn't hunt, and they saw deer all the time on like quad rides and stuff.
Really, yeah.
That's all we were going off of. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not like we were like packed in, like hiking into a spot. Like we were just driving around looking for stuff
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we ended up seeing lots. And back then in that area, you'd see quite a bit of muleys early season, and then
Mm,
kind of they would move out near the middle of September.
yeah,
You don't
exactly.
see much after that. But yeah, we were just kind of going off of, hey, this is we want to hunt deer, and this is the only spot we really know.
Yeah,
Like so,
exactly.
we just went. Yeah, and it was
Dude, I
kind of
love
like the
that, man.
blind leading
That's
the blind a
freaking
little
awesome.
bit. My brother being a young guy, and I was still pretty young too, so I was like 20. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, dude, so good. So that's your first season then, and then, like, what kinda happened from there? So then was the stoke alive in the off season? Being, like, feeling like you were that close to obviously putting meat in your freezer? Like, what kind of went from there?
yeah, I think we went on one more hunt later in the season and saw some deer, but just never saw any 4 points because it was
Mhm.
at that point it was like November and it was 4 point or better. But yeah, we kinda got pumped up the next year and we started talking about spring bear.
But yeah.
And, the funny part is, my parents being not hunters and not knowing really anything about it, they heard us talking about bear hunting and they were like, worried. They're like, "Oh no, like these guys are gonna go get killed or something by a bear." Like they're pretty nervous about it. So
Yeah.
for Christmas that year, or yeah, the first year hunting for Christmas, our parents found a really cheap guided bear hunt up north in Smithers for spring bear. I think
Oh,
it was like 1,200 bucks a person. So like
yeah,
nowadays it's like dirt cheap, but like
yeah,
well, again, like so new to hunting, I didn't really think like guided, not guided. Guided wasn't
yeah,
really an option, but my parents were pretty insistent on it. So
yeah.
that was our Christmas present from them for like the
Dude,
next
that's
2 years.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great Christmas present.
Yeah. So
Holy.
we ended up going that next spring. So 2015 spring,
Sweet.
2014 spring,
Yeah,
and went up to Smithers and my brother shot a giant bear, probably the biggest bear he shot, like
really.
over over 6'7", and I
Wow.
think his skull was just shy of 20.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Dude,
then,
that's
so it was kind of a gong show of a hunt though, like, I think because we were residents and the guide in the area wasn't like he's not using his allocation for our hunts, and, like,
hmm.
he's just like, "Whatever, like, send these guys out," and then my brother shot that big bear, we were with one guide, and then the rest of the hunt, we were with a brand new guide who'd never
Okay.
shot a bear.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, or at least he hadn't shot a bear in BC. I think he'd only shot stuff over bait, and
Yeah.
it was a gong show. Like his truck broke, so used my truck, and I was pretty much doing all the glassing. I was just like, he wasn't as like, I don't know. He
Yeah.
didn't seem like he cared that much. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. He was a nice guy, but like
Yeah.
it was basically just me hunting after
Yeah.
that, and I actually ended up spotting this bear, and it was way out on this ridge, out on this, like,
Hmm.
grassy knoll, and it
Yeah.
was probably, like, 2K from the road, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, "Let's go." It was a nice color phase bear from what I could see, and I left him in the dust, man. The guide was huffing and puffing way back, and I ended up shooting this bear at 50 yards and then again at 20 because when I
No
shot,
way. Yeah.
didn't see me. It wasn't, like,
Yeah.
running at me, but, like,
Yeah.
it ran towards me. So I shot and then re-racked right away, and all I saw
Yeah.
was color phase bear brown with my scope, and boom, shot
Yeah.
him at 20 and piled him up, and wasn't a big bear, but I got a rug out of him and stuff, and it
Dude,
was
there you go, man, and
again,
it's the first, man.
yeah,
It's the
just
first,
yeah,
like
just building the stoke.
yeah, dude,
Yeah,
that's gotta feel really good, eh? Like,
yeah,
to first and foremost be like, "Okay, guide, like, I'm freaking you're paying me now, you're coming
yeah,
along on my hunt." But
yeah,
second of all, too, man, to, like, get that first little bit of, like, "Whoa, I shot this, and now I get to, like, have the reward of the meat in the freezer," man, that's gotta
yeah.
feel pretty special, eh?
Yeah, it was really cool, and, like, back then, not knowing as much as I know now about, like, hunting and, like, how you wanna do it, like, some people go guided all the time, some people only get guided when they're out of state, like, that was my other than the one Alberta antelope hunt I did,
Yeah.
that's the only guided hunt I've ever done, so and I only
Yeah.
did it because someone else paid for it, so
Exactly, yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I love it, man. So you got into the spring bear, and then, dude, so this is full blown, like, taking over your motocross addiction, eh?
Yeah,
Like
I think that was my last year racing too.
okay,
So, that was 2014 spring, and that was my and then, I shot that bear, and then I was gone all summer racing motocross across Canada,
dude.
and, yeah, just had terrible season, crashed almost every moto and had bikes blow up, and the
Oh,
very last
shit.
race of the year,
Yeah,
wadded up and had a big concussion, and I don't think I rode for 7 or 8 months after that, but
really?
that was basically like, "Hey," went home, shot the bow like crazy, went out and actually ended up shooting another deer, so
Dude,
yeah, yeah,
I love it. I was gonna say, so I'm like, obviously, like, hey, if you're harnessing all of this energy that you're in previous years, obviously pushing towards moto, like, it's so much more than just on the bike with moto, right? Like, you're training, you have everything else that comes along with it, and honestly, anyone that I know that, like, has ridden, like, motos competitively, like, their work ethic's insane, man. It's just insane. Did
yeah.
you kind of take some of that then and into hunting to, like, okay, like, I am researching now. I am like shooting my bow an obscene amount. I'm doing all of this stuff. Like, did that kind of transfer over for you?
Yeah, definitely, like, the preseason preparation, my mindset for racing transferred in hunting for sure, and, like,
Okay. How so?
2014 was kinda like social media was just, like, getting pretty big, and there started to be more and more information about hunting, And the guys I actually watched a ton that, like, really got me going, their videos were so sick back in the day, was Montana Wild. It
Sick.
was similar to me in the sense it was like him and his brother, they're just
Yeah.
going out and just figuring it out on their own and yeah, getting right into it. But yeah, the preseason prep for racing was like, "Okay, well, I'm not like" I used to go down to California and train and do races in Washington and stuff to get ready for the
Mhm.
season, and now it was like, "Okay, well, let's train, let's shoot bows and shoot guns and get ready." So it
Yeah.
was just like it was nice to be able to not have like a gap in like purpose or like a passion because when I have nothing going on is when the mood goes way down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I
yeah.
love that, man. So how did that kind of look like, did you at any point like, you're watching all the Montana Wild videos, doing all this different stuff and kinda, like, gaining as much knowledge. Did you ever have, like, anyone here in BC that kind of instilled stuff into you and maybe took you out hunting, learned from them a little bit? Or was it all just like, "Hey, I'm going off of YouTube and Instagram here," and, like, really pushing that stuff and just trial and error and taking like a really hard work ethic approach to it.
Yeah, it was just an obsession. I didn't have anybody until I met Cole, but that was 5 years into hunting, so I was already pretty deep into it, and but once yeah, I guess like 5 years in when I met Cole, he started showing me more and more stuff and kinda elevated my ability and, like, just opened my eyes to, like, things I never thought of before. Like, obviously, like, I got the basics down just via the internet and,
Yeah,
just took the approach that way, but that was pretty much it. It was just me and my brother, and we had the same hunting experience, so yeah,
sick, yeah.
yeah, so it's pretty
Dude, I
sweet.
love it, man. I
Yeah.
love it. Dude, well, that's quite the story, dude. So, and then it obviously leads you into kind of now, and you obviously have West Woods and everything that you're doing there. The 16 name changes, but we're sticking with her now.
Yeah.
And dude, you just get after it, man. Like I feel like every time I see you, you're putting in a lot of time, like right now, which is awesome, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, pretty fortunate, like, when I started hunting, my family owned a big sand and gravel company that I worked at the quarry, and I would get time off to go racing and stuff. Then they sold that company, and my dad and I started building houses and doing renos and flips and stuff. And that allowed me to kinda make my own schedule too, so,
sweet.
I'm not doing that anymore, but, the last 2 years, actually, I've been kinda on and off with that, so during hunting season the last 2 years, I've just hunted, I haven't had any work or anything, so I've
Yeah,
been pretty fortunate that way, and, tried to, like the same way I set my life around racing, I kind of had done that with hunting, even though like it's not like I mean, I made my small attempt there at running a business in Westwoods and selling hats and t-shirts, but I
dude,
was
bring
just
him
like,
back, man. I'm still looking for one of those hats, dude. Bring
yeah,
it
yeah.
back.
I'll get you on. I'll get you on. I got to get some fresh ones made, even though we're not selling them anymore. But I did that for a few years, and I kind of was just like, I didn't really. I just did it because I was like, I thought this is what you did. I was like, oh, it'd be fun, like never to like, oh, I'm gonna be in the hunting industry, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
It was more just for fun and for my friends and family and buddies. So it was,
dude.
yeah, it was a quick little stint there of selling hats and t-shirts, and then I just kept the social media stuff going just because I like it. I've gotten to know. I mean, that's how I met Cole was through Instagram. So, and it turns out our dads actually grew up or played church hockey together. So it's kind of
No
funny.
way.
Yeah,
How
we
did
know
you know
the same
that?
people and all that. But yeah, it was just really just for fun and to keep me engaged in it and yeah, I guess like through talking to some people online I would get some information, not like spots or anything, but just it was a good way to connect with people and it's still fun, like even now, like people messaging me all the time about all sorts of stuff, so it's fun
Sick.
to see what's going on in specifically in BC
Yeah.
and yeah.
Dude, so tell me a little bit more about that because that's sweet, man. Like, I've always loved the content that you guys have pushed out with Westwoods and just been like a huge fan of it. And
Yeah,
even
yeah.
well before I knew you, I was like stoked on like everything that you guys were doing and always made sure to kind of pay attention to it. And then, like I said, as soon as Dave kind of mentioned it, I was like, oh, you know those guys? Okay, sweet. kind of made the connections from those points, right? But dude, how has it been? Like, so you get a lot of questions from different people locally here in BC, and I think it's probably because of your approach, dude. Like, I went out hunting for the first time with you, and you guys are calculated, dude. You guys are so freaking calculated, like more
Yeah.
so than anybody else that I've really had the privilege of hunting with. And you guys got programs, and I think like and knowing a little bit more about your story now, I think the motocross stuff, like really the work ethic part really puts into it because you guys are freaking working hard, man. And it's interesting. Like, obviously, we were out on a whitetail hunt, and that comes with its own beast and learning that whole side of things. But where does that mindset, obviously from the moto stuff, but are you like constantly thinking of like, hey, I am going to work harder than everyone else to get after kind of this big deer or whatever you're chasing in that situation? Where does that kind of come from? And is that like a big motivation of like, hey, the big one's not there, I'm just going to keep working harder? Or is it I'm going to change up tactics and kind of have more of a strategic approach? What kind of happens there?
Yeah, so first off, I wanna say, like, I don't view myself as, like, super knowledgeable or, like, I have this, like, dialed in system that works really good. Like, if you look at my Instagram, like, I've not really shot anything super big ever, right? Like, the one whitetail, and that was a fluke, and it was a pretty crazy thing, but, that's, like, the only real big mature animal I shot was that one whitetail, but, like,
Mhm.
I don't wanna come off and like, even our podcast, like, I try not to sound like, "Oh, this is what you do, this I know what I'm talking about," because I
Yeah.
don't. I'm still, like, constantly learning. It's still, like, every year there's more and more I learn,
Yeah.
and, each animal requires a different approach, and in
Mhm.
BC, we have so much different terrain, you can kind
Yeah.
of approach each animal from multiple different ways. So, like,
Yeah.
I always just try to look at where do I wanna go, and how does that area lend itself to the way I wanna hunt?
Yeah.
Like, alpine muley is totally different than the sage lowland country that I hunt here in Kamloops for
Mhm.
muleys too. And then whitetails, you can hunt in the mountains, you can hunt in the cut blocks, you can still hunt with your
Yeah.
rifle, just slowly walking around. You can go in the stand, you can use bait, you can hunt scrapes, like, it's I've tried to hunt everything all the time, and maybe that's why I haven't been able to focus on one animal and, like, try to find one big certain
Mhm.
animal. I'm like, "Hey, I wanna hunt everything, and I wanna learn more every year." So I just try different things and implement new processes and methods of take and styles of hunting, and, yeah, I really just try to look at, like, where am I hunting? What is the most strategical way to, like, approach it?
Yeah.
And have fun, but then also like up my odds of seeing animals and hopefully see a big one. I'm not super picky. I just started passing animals in the last few
Okay.
years. Like
Yeah.
I my mindset with it is like I'm still in my mind new-ish to hunting, especially compared to guys like Cole and other people out there like Jordan from BC Backcountry that lives here. Like they've been doing it their whole lives
Yeah.
and they've got a whole nother skill set that I'm still building. So it's like in
Yeah.
my mind, if I get excited about the animal that I see and I want to shoot him, I'm going to be proud of that animal, whether it's a 2 point or a giant four
Yeah.
point muley or whatever, small whitetail, big whitetail. But like I know in every hunter's journey, there does have to be that time where like, "Hey, I've shot this amount of this
Mm.
species. How do I upgrade from there?" And try to kinda I guess a little bit of a conservation aspect to it, like, you don't wanna just be shooting everything all the time, and I
Yeah.
did that for a while, right? But I was
Yeah.
just building reps and in my mind, making up for lost time of not
Yeah.
hunting
Yeah.
and then throwing the bow into the aspect too. And so I've shot more stuff with a bow than I have with a rifle, but that's
Sweet.
I mean, that kinda it's if you're shooting stuff that's not that big, that's not I wouldn't say that's a super big flex as far as,
Yeah.
like, hunting goes, but it's I wanna have the reps under my belt so when that big animal does come in, I'm not losing my crap and blow it like I did
Yeah.
3 days ago. So, yeah,
Dude, well,
so
tell
that's
me
kind
what
of the
happened 2
mindset.
days ago here. What are we hinting at?
Oh, man, yeah, so, the same spot we were in, what was
Yeah.
that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Wasn't getting a lot of, like, big bucks on camera, not anything over 4 years old for sure, for a
Mm.
while, but,
Mm.
I, when we got there, go check cameras at night, you know, the drill, and, get to my stand in the morning, and I'm sitting in my stand looking at my phone, going through the trail cam pictures on the first morning of the hunt, and I'm like, "Holy crap, there's, like, a nice buck." He'd one broken off tine, but, like, I would say a 5-year-old buck and nice tall tines, like, I've never scored anything I've ever shot. It's not like, "Oh, I don't think that's right." I just haven't not because 'cause I'm just like, I don't really care, at least not yet. So, I just for whitetails now, I've only been hunting whitetails for, like, 5 years and or 5 or 6 years, and, I was just yeah, I'm like, if it gets me excited, I wanna shoot it, and, like, this is the one buck I got excited about, so,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was end of day 2, I'd let some small bucks go and a bunch of does 'cause I still had a doe tag, and I always plan to shoot a doe in that area just because there's lots of deer, and my freezer's getting pretty low because I didn't shoot an elk this year, but, um, I, yeah, I had this buck come in right at last light, like 10 minutes left of shooting light, and it took him, like, what felt like forever. He came up behind me, didn't catch my wind, which was good because the wind was blowing up that way, circled around and came under my set, and he popped out, and I drew back, and I could s like, when I drew back, he wasn't quite in frame yet. I pulled my peep up, and I'm lining my sight up, and I can see my pins. I can't see the colors of my pins super well at this point because I have a
Yeah.
canopy of trees over me, so the
Yeah.
light's not getting let into my sight housing, and, I was like, "Hey, well, my set's a little further than I'd like it to be. I usually like to be between 20 and 30 yards, and it was like where he was coming into, it wasn't gonna be any closer than 36 yards,
Mhm.
and whitetails duck. They duck the arrow. At least in our area in this specific spot. I've had other
Yeah.
areas where they don't, and they just
Yeah.
take it, which is good, so, like, you don't have to aim off the body, but I'm used to aiming either the very bottom 2 inches or, like,
Yeah.
off the body.
Off of them.
And
Yeah.
even at 25, 30 yards with a bow that's shooting right around 300 feet per second, you still have to aim low. And I I got lined up and he came into frame and I was at full draw for almost 2 minutes and I was just kind of like my one shoulder was starting to do this a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I he came in, I lined up, I'm like, "Hey, I can see my 20 and my 60 pin because I shoot 5 pins." And I was like, I know my 30, 40, 50 are in there." And I tried to hold the bottom of my 40 pin out
Mm.
below the deer,
Yeah. Exactly.
and as soon as it got there, I got settled and let the shot off. The break was good on the shot, but
Yeah.
he ducked that thing, man. I got
Oh.
the video of it. He ducked it, and you can see my arrow hit a rock on the other side of him, and sparks fly up, and I'm just like, and
Oh,
like,
that hurts, man. That
yeah,
hurt.
it hurts after a long season too of not seeing animals that I want to shoot
Yeah.
pretty much until November. But
Yeah.
it was yeah, it was heartbreaking, but you gotta shake it
Yeah.
off and get back out there, so, back in the
Big
stand the
time.
next day, letting the little bucks go,
Yeah.
and ended up shooting a doe, but
Nice.
yeah.
Heck yeah. Hey, meat in the freezer, man. Meat in the freezer. I
Yeah,
know a lot of
and
people think differently about that stuff, but I'm like, dude, meat.
yeah,
Who
and
cares what the species or what the size was? Obviously, kind of come call it say come April.
okay, yeah, and, like, obviously, like, I can afford to go buy meat, that's not a big deal, but I prefer game meat, I like it, my
Yeah.
wife likes it, my 3 kids, they all eat game meat all year long, so
Yeah.
it's nice to
Same.
have it, and whitetail meat is really good, and then the second part of it is, just getting the reps in with the bow too, you gotta send arrows at moving targets if you're or alive targets if you're not
Yeah.
doing that, you're not building I don't know, I guess that mindset of being able to lock in when it counts, so
Yeah. Exactly.
my, like, love for, like, the animals and outdoors kinda came after,
Mhm.
as bad as that maybe sounds to some guys, it's like I came from a sports, athletic background, motocross, like, it was more of, like, an activity and, like, an endeavor than it was, a love for animals and the outdoors. That grew as I
Mhm.
continued hunting, right? So it's kinda where the mindset has kinda shifted a little bit, so
Which I honestly think, man, is a story for a lot of people. Like, I don't think people really, like, chat about it enough because I think especially too in the hunting world, we wanna be conservation first, all of this different
Mhm.
stuff, and to be honest, that's kinda more where I stand, but I chat with a lot of people that it's the same thing. It's like, "Hey, like, I felt like it was more something that I wanted to do, I wanted to accomplish, and then the love for the animals came after it, right? And I think that's really cool as well, right? Where it's like, hey, there's no right way or wrong way. I think at the same time, I think it's really sweet that people do find this deep love and appreciation and participate in conservation by being able to be a part of it, and like, hey, getting their feet wet in the hunting world and starting to fill their freezer and doing all these different things. And because of that, that's obviously where yeah, like I said, where that love come from. So it's cool to hear kind of like that's the boat you're in too. And I feel like it's not talked about enough, to be honest.
It isn't, yeah, and I think a lot of people impose their opinions and beliefs about hunting on new hunters or other people that are in the hunting space, and I don't view myself as someone that's in the hunting space, like the podcasts and Instagram, YouTube, like, the pages that I have is just for fun. Like, it's a fun, I love it. It's a fun hobby, and I if it turns into something more cool, but I'm not, like, driven by that end of it, and
Yeah.
I don't like when I hear guys talk about it and they, like, I feel like they put the pressure on new hunters to, like, you know, start passing animals right away. And if that's not what you're into, like, if you don't care how big an animal you shoot, like, go for it. Like, I've never looked at a buck or a bull or anything from someone that they've shot and been like, "Oh, you should have shot a bigger one," or "Oh, you should have waited." It's like
Yeah.
that, let people get to that stage of hunting on their own and, like, build that, like, standard for themselves. And, like, I'm slowly getting there, right? Like,
Mhm.
I think I've felt the pressure, just not even from anyone specifically, just hearing things from people that are in the space that have hunted for a long time to, like, you gotta, like, be hunting all these big mature animals all the time. Like, not everybody likes that. Not everybody's into that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's true, man. It's a really interesting and polarizing topic, and something that I think about a lot, and I don't necessarily know like the right answer to either. Like, I even think of
Mhm.
yeah, like, I don't know, yeah, I'm maybe gonna bite my tongue on them, but I could list a couple stories of some different people, and maybe we share those kind of next time we're sitting in the camper together.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's tough, right? Like, everyone's got opinions and ideas,
Mm,
and I think it's important for people to build their own opinions and ideas on, like, how they view hunting and what's their purpose for it. And I've heard guys that are super spiritual about it, and, like,
mhm.
I'm a Christian. I have my own beliefs, but, like,
No,
my beliefs and what I do in hunting has just slowly grown into what it is now. And it's still, like, I'm not you're gonna probably see me shoot stuff in the future that's, like, not huge, but it's
yeah,
because I wanted to and I was excited about it. And it's different goals for everyone. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. You gotta look inside, and maybe there is a right or a wrong if you're just going out every year and stacking up spikers and 2 points and does all every year for 10 years, then maybe that's not a good look. But again, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Like, it doesn't bother me
yeah.
at all. So,
Yeah, and even with that, like, breath and maybe on, let's call it hot takes or something like that
yeah.
too. I know that one thing I've always appreciated about you too is when you talk about the kill shots and kind of your opinions on that,
Mhm.
and even like showing that side of the hunting world. Can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that and kind of like your thoughts and opinions around that?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know why that has, like, become something for me that I like. I'm almost like, I don't know, I just, like, I won't say the brand, but a hunting video of a company just came out. Actually, their last few hunting videos came out, and, like, the arrow or the bullets going in, and then the screen goes black, and, like, I get why they're doing it. I completely get it. I don't, like, think they're wrong totally,
Mhm.
but, like, when I started hunting and I was trying to, like, decide what if I wanted to go hunting or not, watching videos where they had kill shots wasn't like a bloodlust thing, like, "Oh, sick, yeah, I just hammered that thing," right?
Yeah.
Like, as we talk like that now, like, for our own stuff and, like, sharing videos between my buddies and I. But, like, as far as, like, me getting into it and seeing that, it helped me rationalize, like, the reality of, like, you're
Mhm.
killing an animal
Yeah.
and actually, like, seeing the arrow impact or the bullet impact, like,
Mhm.
that showed me, like, oh, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta make sure I'm proficient with my weapon. And I've lost animals, right? So, like, there's a weight that comes with that. But Yeah, maybe, like, certain platforms aren't good for it, right? Like, I've got some
Yep.
heat on Instagram for posting kill shots, and I get that because it's very quick and easy to share, and it floats around out in the Instagram sphere,
Yeah.
and I can see that ending up in the wrong eyes and someone being upset and turning away from hunting or being anti-hunting, but as far as YouTube goes, like, if you get 15 minutes into a hunting video and you see an animal die, then
It's
I
kinda
don't
what
know
you're
what.
there for.
Well, I don't know why you're surprised is my thing, like,
Yeah.
it's maybe not totally what you're there for, but that showing all of it
Yeah.
is, I think, important. I think showing
Yeah.
everything and, like, yeah, like, I'm not the best cook or anything, but, like, the meat aspect of it is important. Like, I make sure that when I shoot something, I do my absolute best to make sure that meat is taken care of in the field and then after the fact too. So, yeah, showing all of it in my eyes is important. Maybe, yeah, for some platforms like Instagram and obviously like TikTok wouldn't allow it, but like the
Yeah.
short form content and just
Yeah.
showing stuff like kill shot reels and stuff, maybe that's not the best. But then also like the way the algorithm is with Instagram, like you're not really seeing stuff that you don't want to see anymore. It used to be like everything was kind of everywhere. Now it's like a very curated experience. But yeah, maybe some guys aren't going to like that opinion. But I think for me, being a new hunter, and I actually had to question myself, like, am I okay with killing an animal? Do I agree with this?
Mhm.
Because I was 20 years old. I hadn't even really thought about it yet. And then
Yeah.
watching hunting videos and seeing it was what helped me, like, okay, this is a very serious, heavy thing that you have to make sure you're proficient before you shoot
Mhm.
that thing or or take that shot. Right. So that's kind of
Exactly.
my opinion on kill shots. It's, yeah, maybe Instagram isn't the place for it. Maybe I've contributed to some not great opinions or whatever. But honestly, I never get anti-hunting people on my stuff anymore, ever.
Yeah.
And I used
Yeah.
to when
Yeah.
Instagram was different, and now I do, or now I don't. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's interesting, man. Like, I think that whole story thing is really, it's important, dude. Like, that's literally the whole reason why we did that subsistence film was for that, like, mindset of saying, like, hey, there is a bigger story behind this, like, hey, and this piece of meat that you're eating. There's a bigger story behind it. And hey, some of it's really freaking heavy. Like,
Mm,
hey, if we want to eat, we are taking a life. And it doesn't matter what way. And you could go way down the whole rabbit hole of like even going down to like a piece of lettuce and talking about habitat and all of this different stuff
mhm.
and animals died in that different way of it. But the fact of the matter is there is nobody in this world that isn't necessarily killing something for them to eat. Like, and that's
Yeah,
just the truth at the
it
end of
is.
the day.
Yeah,
And it's like the real question is how disconnected do we want to be from it? How much do we want to like not tell that story? And I think as hunters and as us, like we should feel that weight. We should like not want to food waste. We should not want to waste that animal because we feel that weight of, whoa, like this is a heavy thing to take a life. And like we're obviously doing it and like we're filling our freezers because of it. So it's
yeah,
a polarizing topic that I think needs to be talked about more. And I think more people need to feel the weight of like, cause no one's hands are wiped clean of it. Doesn't matter, like I said, if you're a freaking vegetable eater to obviously a full born like dude chucking down some deer steaks on his barbecue this
yeah,
afternoon, you know? I'm like, there's no dude that's disconnected from it completely.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I see why like social media can contribute to anti-hunting and like certain things like the grizzly bear hunt being taken away and stuff like that. But like if I feel if we start to water down what it is we're actually doing out there and hiding it kind of like you're like
Mhm.
in a way I kind of feel like people are trying to hide it and yeah, maybe from some people that's good, but like within the hunting media sphere, like there's not, I don't know, I don't know. I just feel like it's not a bad thing to show the kill shot as long as you do it in a tasteful way and it's not super gory and you're just like, or you're just showing like you shooting something in the leg and then just hitting it in the butt or whatever. And like, you just keep showing it over and over and over again. Like maybe that's not good and that's a bad look, but that does happen for to some
Yeah.
people. But like, Yeah, maybe my opinion's wrong, or maybe people aren't gonna like it, but I do think it's good to show the kill shots, at least on a long form content thing like YouTube, where like you're there, you're engaged in the content you're watching, and if the kill shot is part of it, then there you go. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing to see hunters shying away from what it is we're doing and trying to water down the whole thing a little bit. So I just like, it's kind of like politics and laws and stuff. Like you give an inch, they're going to take a mile, and it starts like deteriorating over time. So like if everyone all of a sudden stops showing kill shots, then I think the next step is that hunting's not allowed on social media
Yeah.
in a certain way. Like not in
Yeah.
that
No,
simple of
I can
it.
definitely understand that
Yeah.
that kind of path for sure.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's an interesting one, and I think there's lots of different opinions by it, but kind of the opinion I guess that I personally hold, and even Fargone itself too, is like, hey, we always want to show the full story, and I think that that is part of the story, right? Like it's like I said, going back to the subsistence film, it's like even down. We had a big conversation about like bonking all the fish that we bonked. Like obviously we showed the kill shots of the animals, but even down to like the fish, and be like, hey, like, okay, Justin caught a freaking rainbow and now like get the stonker bonker, smack that thing on the head. That's part of it, right? Where it's
Love
like,
all
but it is
Justin's
the full.
sayings.
Yeah, exactly. Big time. Big time. But it is kind of like it is the truth, man. It's the full story. And I think like that's something that I never want to shy away from, because I think that there should be a little bit of a weight to it to be like, hey, like you should feel a little bit when you bite down on that piece of steak, and like have like thankfulness for the fact that like, well, like this is a heavy thing and that we do get to eat this. So but yeah, like I said, it is a polarizing topic. I think the media side is definitely an interesting one. But it's yeah, I think you could talk forever on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's a good question for everyone to ask themselves, and everyone's going to have a different opinion on what the impacts of what they share are, and I think it's okay to have multiple. So, it's
Big
not
time. Trevor, what's your thoughts too? Every time I think about you, I always think about kind of gear and
okay.
stuff along these lines too. Because
Yeah.
you're a big gear guy. You're a guy that wants to have a little bit of everything and test it to see kind of what works. Um, what is there anything right now that you're really excited about? What are you kind of playing around with? What are you tinkering with? And is it for certain types of hunts, or is it like down to like your tack setup or something like that? You know, like
Yeah, yeah, like I buy stuff every year, and it's not because I think it's gonna make me a better hunter, it's just because
yeah,
I like it, you know? Like,
yeah,
you can be the guy out there in blue jeans and a flannel and go shoot something with 30-06, that's fine, but, like, the moto world is heavy emphasis on gear and equipment and upgrading and always finding what's better. So,
yeah.
again, just another transfer over of, like, what my life was before into this,
Hmm.
and I don't believe it's gonna make you a better hunter, but it helps. Like it helps a
Mm,
little bit just with just being excited about gear, and it keeps you engaged in your equipment and tweaking things, whether it's your bow or your rifle or even the clothing that you're wearing, different layering systems and things like that. Like I've always I've always been like I'd stick to one brand for a bit and then I switch, and now I kinda, like, have a bunch of everything, like, you name
yeah,
it, I've tried it,
yeah,
and, yeah, I don't know, definitely, like, I don't have any, but those SIG binos, those were sick to try. It's
right,
like, I think
yeah,
that's a pretty sweet thing. I know people talk about those all the time, but, for me personally, I'm kind of dialing in my sight aspect. Like I've been a 5 pin slider shooter for a long time. I like to have all those pins. So I like if I range and it moves, I can make a guess. And I've had to do that where like I draw back and the animal's at 20 and it runs to 40. And I've practiced guessing yardages enough that if I had a single pin, I would be having to do some holdover. But having
hmm
5 pins, you can just line it up and send it. And now I'm kind of maybe gonna I think I want to go to a vertical 3 pin because all for a while the 3 pin verticals, they were all like you couldn't adjust the different pins. Yeah, they were
yeah,
fixed, and then you set your
yeah,
20, and then the
exactly.
next two were just wherever they ended up.
Kind
So
of
now that
guesses.
yeah, now like on the new dialed, you can adjust that the second and the third pin up and down. So I like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So now I'll go
Yeah,
to 20, 30, 40,
yeah,
and I can fine tune those in pretty quickly. But Yeah, and as far as like clothing, I've been Kuiu guy for a little while, and I don't know why. I just this year I was like, I'm gonna try some different stuff. So I've got Stone Glacier, I've got Born Primitive, and
Sick.
everything from mid layers to outer layers, and different
Yeah.
pants and stuff. So yeah,
And is there any front runners kind of on that side that you're like really leaning towards? Like I know that you
on the
maybe
on the clothing,
on the clothing, yeah, yeah. So you're saying
not
because you are a guy that runs a little bit of everything.
yeah.
So it's
Now I
like
am.
what's kind of like, hey, if you let's say you had one kit for call it, I know whitetail's its own beast, but let's talk about like, hey, like mountain hunting in British Columbia.
Yeah.
Like what are you kind of gravitating towards?
I think I'm still kind of like gravitating towards the Kuyu stuff. You know, they have so many different levels of like, do you want synthetic? Do you want merino?
Mhm.
Do you want a blend or
Yeah,
things like that? And then do you want a puffy? Do you want a hard shell? So there's just so many options with Kuyu, but I did incorporate a little bit of Stone Glacier and Born Primitive
sweet.
in my kit, and I can't remember the name of the Stone Glacier hoodie. It's
Okay.
like a lighter
Uh,
down hoodie with no insulation on the back, so, like, when you're
huh.
hiking in, it
Yeah.
breathes pretty good. I have to look it up.
Huh.
I was a lot better before about knowing all the names of each thing, but I've just got so much gear now, I can't remember, and,
Yeah.
um, but, yeah, definitely still like the Kuiu stuff. I think where I struggle with Kuiu, and not that like, I'm not trying to talk crap about it because I have a ton of it, but, like, it's geared a lot of it used to be mostly geared towards sheep hunters and stuff, so it's
Yeah.
very lightweight. Some of it's not very durable, and a lot of the stuff I do is in thick brush and timber, and like I shred that stuff pretty quickly. So I do
Yeah.
see that they are coming out with more and more like durable stuff, which is good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still open to whatever, right? Like I'll try anything. And then for like rifles and stuff, I got a new 7 PRC this year, which is kind of a big step for me because I'm pretty partial to like 30 caliber rounds. I've got a 338, I had a 300 Win Mag, 300 PRC, and I got a 7 mil PRC
Yeah.
this year. So that's been fun to play with. That's what I shot my whitetail with. It was at
Sick.
35 yards, so I didn't really
Oh
like
yeah.
get to like see what it was
Really
capable
testing
of.
out the rifle at 35.
Yeah, but and then in that aspect too, I've heard guys talk about setups for different hunts and things, and
Mhm.
like my rifle, you look at it, it looks like a long range setup, and it's capable of that, but like my scope goes all the way down to 4 power, and
Mm.
if you can't find an animal at 20, 30 yards when you're on four
Yeah.
power, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
It
big
still
time.
gives a really big clear
Yeah.
picture and a big objective and lens on the end. I think it's 52 mil, and then the zoom goes all the way up to 32. So like if you're trying to stretch the legs out, it's kind of the best of both worlds because I've got spots here where I start off down low and it's open sage country, and then I get above that and it's thick timber, and I
Mm.
gotta turn the zoom all the way down, and
Yeah.
it's got an illuminated reticle on it too. So like I just
Nice.
click the button, and a nice green or red
So
reticle
helpful.
pops up, and
Yeah.
it's a 22-inch barrel, so it's short,
Mm.
easy to move around the bush.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's a Seekins Precision. I think it's a
Okay.
little small company out of Idaho, and
Sweet.
they have, some cool rifles. I bought it from Reliable Gun in Vancouver, but
Nice. Heck yeah.
yeah, so I
Dude, I
like
love
that
it,
thing.
man.
That thing's been sick.
Yeah, you've been
Yeah,
enjoying it.
yeah, definitely.
Dude, and then also, on the bow front, like, I know you're always a guy what I think is interesting about you is I wouldn't say and I mean this in the best way possible, but you're not necessarily brand loyal. Like, I feel like you're a
Yeah,
guy that, like, genuinely just likes the I think that there's dudes that say that they like gear, and they're like, "Yeah, I buy the new Hoyt every year, I just love gear." And I'm like, "You love Hoyt." Like, you don't necessarily love gear, you don't love,
yeah,
like, trying everything out where I'm like, "Hey, look at you." And I'm like, "Dude, every year you're buying the Matthews, you're buying the Hoyt, you're probably shooting everything else under the sun too to see if you like it as well." Like, where are you kind of like sitting there and hey, even into obviously the 26 bows just launched a little bit
yeah,
ago. On the archery front, like what are you kind of getting excited about? What are you picking up? What does all that look like for you? And
yeah,
what have you shot the last couple of years that you've really enjoyed and gravitated toward?
on the bow end of things, my wife, she gives me so much crap because I go nuts and I buy everything. You know, like I almost every year I buy the new Hoyt and the new Matthews, and I try to make
Yeah,
my decision from there.
yeah,
And typically by hunting season, I've dialed in the Matthews, and that's what I feel the most comfortable with. or there's something on that specific model that like I think is going to help with things. And something I'm learning with the Hoyt is so much louder on the shot than the Matthews. And I'm wondering if that has an impact on whitetails and shooting and them ducking. I don't know. Do they hear the arrow or the bow go off? I don't know what it is. Like, are they hearing the arrow coming in or are they hearing the bow go
Hmm,
off? But yeah,
that's interesting.
I've had everything. Like I have a Darton from this last year. A lot of people don't even
Sweet.
know what that company is. I had an Athens. I've shot
Yeah.
Prime. I've
Yeah.
had PSE. I've had quite a few different models of bows. I've been bow hunting for 10, 11 years now, and I've had, I think,
Yeah.
35 bows. And they hold the, I know it's crazy, but like that's like a kind of a side thing where like I love shooting my bow and
Yeah.
tinkering with it and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never
That's your
ever had
hobby, man.
I've never had anyone work on my bow. I've taught
Huh,
myself how to work on my bows, and if I'm
that's
doing it
awesome.
wrong, I wouldn't know because I've been self-taught via the internet, and I've always worked on my own bows. So I like different arrow setups for different
Mhm.
game, and just I want to be able to shoot what I know is going to be the best for me that year.
Yeah.
And there's an argument there with like, well, if you shoot the same bow all the time, then you're going to get good with it. And I agree with
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
just it's a hobby, right? And I like to
Yeah.
play with different things. So yeah, I think for this year again, I'll probably get the Arc 34 and then get probably not go carbon on Hoyt again. I'll probably get the aluminum bow.
Okay.
And that might be it this year though. I think the bows are getting to a point where they're all so good. You can just
Mm.
pick one that you
Yeah.
like the look of it and it feels good in your hand, and everybody's got a different shape of their hand and where they hold the bow. So it'll fit someone differently than others. But yeah, it'll probably just be I'll sell these old bows and I'll get the new Hoyt and the new Matthews. And the nice thing is they hold their value pretty good if you don't beat them up, which is good for some people, not for me, because the
Yeah.
whatever bow I decide to hunt with looks like a 10-year-old bow by the end of the season. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take everything apart. I'll look at every screw and make sure there's no rust and stuff, and
Yeah.
put it all back together and put a little bit of axle grease on and new strings, and then I sell it on eBay usually. So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah,
Hey, what's that eBay account? You can plug it here real quick if anyone's looking for,
yeah,
I'm
I
assuming
don't
you're
even know.
selling a Lift X and an RX-9.
Yeah, I don't even know what the name of it is, but they go so fast, and it's a little different now, I think, with shipping and going to the
Mhm.
States. But most of them I've sold go to the States. People buy them.
Really?
Yeah, well, their
Huh.
dollar's so good, right? And it's
Yeah,
like
that's a good point.
it's what it looks super cheap to them when I'm listing a bow. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. What are some, like, features and stuff, like I know that you said that you've shot everything from a
Mhm.
Darton to, PSE to all that, but it seems like the Hoyt and the Matthews are the 2 that you're buying every year religiously and then maybe adding something on top of that. Is there a reason for that? Is there specific features or anything like that? Do they just feel the best in your hand, that that's the reason why you're continuing to kinda pick up a Matthews and a Hoyt year after year? Or is it just because it's a Matthews and a Hoyt?
It's no, it's definitely like a quality thing. I think there's a bunch of high end bows, and then there's a few that when you hold them and you feel them, and you shoot them, like you can tell like there's a lot of R&D into this piece of equipment, and like they stand out. Like there's not really an argument. Like PSC is close, but I would still say there's things about a PSC that's not on par with a Hoyt or a Matthews,
Yeah.
and Bowtech is the one I have never shot actually, but
Really?
yeah, I don't know
Uh,
why. Maybe actually I do know why. Because the last few years that I've considered it, they don't offer their new bow an 80-pound option. And that's
really?
like
Yeah.
a non-negotiable for me. I need that. I want to shoot 80 pounds. I have for like 9 or 10 years now. So it's like I like to be able to shoot as heavy of an arrow as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And I got a pretty middle of the road draw length, 29
Okay.
and a half inches. So it's
Oh, yeah.
kind of right in the middle there.
Hey,
And
you and I are the same draw length. It sounds like
yeah,
I'm testing out some bows next time I come up to your place.
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, and I think I'm not super concerned with like draw cycle and things like that. That's not a big deal. Like they're all going to feel a little different. There's going to be a rollover at some point. I think the Matthews has like a stiffer pull all the way through, and it kind of just ends up it's stiffer but smoother, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like there's no
Yeah.
hump. It just kind
Yeah.
of goes. And then the
Exactly.
Hoyt the last 3 quarters of the draw, it definitely like humps over and has like a little, you kind of see that. I posted a little video from the 360 cam, me shooting that doe. And you can see when I draw back, I get to here and it's like it slows down a bit and then it goes.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's more difficult. It's just that's where their power curve is kind of built up. So
Mhm.
yeah, and yeah, I guess the to answer your question, it's just for me, it's a in the hand feel, and then just the
Yeah.
overall quality and components and stuff too. If you're a guy that works on your bow and you've got like Allen heads stripping or Torx bolts stripping, like
Mhm.
it's such a pain in the butt, and you gotta get it dealt with. And I like to just have quality stuff
Yeah.
and go from there. So yeah,
Dude, that's huge.
and the two brands, Hoyt and Matthews, they have the last 5 years have had the bows all feel so similar to the bow previous, so when
Previous.
I'm
Yeah.
getting a new one, it doesn't feel like a foreign thing, right? So,
Mhm. Yeah.
like, when I buy a PSE or a Darton or Athens at the time, they're now not a company anymore because Bowtech sued them, but, they it's just not a familiar feeling, so I like to stick to that, what I know, and there's things about the Matthews that stand out over the Hoyt and vice versa, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, have you shot that new Prime that came out last year too, their carbon kind of cluster?
No, my brother just ordered one.
Really?
He's been a recurve only guy for
Yeah.
the last 5 years or so, and, he
Yeah.
just ordered one, so I haven't got to I'll set it up for him when it gets here, but I have not shot him. I like aesthetics and the look of
Yeah.
it, man. I'm out on the look, you know, like, no offense to Prime, but that's an ugly bow.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I would if I'm not opposed to Prime, but, like, I would
Yeah.
just shoot the normal riser, like the aluminum one, just purely based off of looks, not anything to do with
Exactly.
the function or anything of that.
Yeah.
It's just I gotta like what I'm looking at. It's the same thing sitting on a bike looking over the front fender. You gotta like what you're looking at. So
It's true, man. Hey, so they always say like look good, play good. Or what's that saying go? Look good, feel good, play
yeah,
good, they pay good, right?
yeah.
So
I'm sure there's
that's
different
kind of the
variations. Yeah,
yeah, big
yeah,
time. Big time. So, oh, dude, I love it, man. Hey, well, I'd be interested. I agree with you. I think that those looks are real kind of weird.
yeah,
But hey, I've heard good things from the guys that have shot them too. So I'm like, it's an interesting one. My first bow actually was a Prime, but then pretty much since then, man, I've just been sticking with the Matthews and have
yeah,
0 complaints. I freaking love the Matthews, and it is I think the biggest thing is that it is audibly quieter than anything else.
dude, that's crazy.
It's freaking silent, dude. I don't
Yeah,
know how they do it. It's so freaking quiet, and now having that little, I remember, dude, I was freaking out before my elk hunt this year, feeling like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to boot up to Trevor, get my bow tinkered on,
yeah,
do
yeah,
the whole thing because Lucian's shop burned down out here in
yeah.
Surrey,"
Forgot about that.
and being like, "Dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do," and then long story short, being able to, yeah, frick, man, being able to
You
use
got her
that
set
little
up.
tuning key system, dude, it works out great. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
"This is incredible." I know nothing when it comes to tuning bows, but it seems like Hoyt obviously came out with that there too. So, dude,
Yeah,
gear stuff, man, you could just go for days on it.
you could. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, like I don't want people to think like, oh, I buy the gear because I think it's gonna make me better. I just do it because I like it, and it's like a fun hobby to tinker with stuff, and it's just yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's cool,
Dude, well,
cool to try stuff.
we might have to do a special podcast one time when you pick up both of those bows and we'll talk through kind of first impressions and everything like that. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people love the archery stuff, especially this kind of year too, right? Or this time of year where
Mhm.
hey, like most of the hunting's kind of done unless if you got some like obviously late season goats and crap like that happening. But for the majority of hunters here in BC, hunting's kind of done. So I think a lot of people start thinking about bows and getting excited about bows and obviously into kind of the summer here where yeah, see you at the
Yeah.
Canadian Archery Challenge and we'll go from there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited about that, man. It went so good last year for a first time event. Even if you wouldn't even know it was a first time event. So I've been trying
Dude,
to spread the
sick,
word a little bit. Even I went to the archery shop here, the new one in town, and
sick.
the guy that was running the shop there, and he was like, I don't know. He's like, I was gonna go last year, and then I decided not to, and I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, dude, you gotta go. It's such a blast. Like, there's nothing in Canada like that. It's the only one. So you gotta
Dude,
if you like bows, and even if you're not that good, like you gotta go check it out. There was people there with like borrowed recurves, and they were just walking up closer and sending arrows. Like it's for
yeah.
everyone. It's not like this elitist event. It's like everybody come out and have fun.
Dude, hey, well, we appreciate that, man. So we actually just I'm trying to pull up the dates now. We're locked in for this year too. So
Nice, nice.
July 17th to 19th. So
Sweet.
we'll be back up at Sasquatch Mountain Resort. And dude,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks again for coming on out, man. This year's gonna
Yeah.
be bigger and better. And I know that you said that you felt like it wasn't like a Jimmy rigged thing, but I think us on our end, we're like, yeah, there's about 1,000 things we can do better. So we're actively kind of putting that into place here and trying to get her dialed. So, but
That's
dude, we
sweet.
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and if I
Hey, and
if
you
I
freaking
if I
left home
skip
with a brand new pair of binos too.
I
So
know, I
you
know.
had
I
it pretty good,
almost
actually.
yeah, it worked out really well. I used those all season for mealies and stuff. Those 12 powers ice are pretty sick. So I was pretty
Heck
stoked
yeah,
on that. And I'd like to be able to give back a little bit. So maybe I'll be able to come out in a couple days before the event and try help set up and do what I can. Would be sweet if I have
dude.
time.
Would love to, man.
Yeah.
Come on out. It would be a
Yeah.
freaking blast. So we'd love to have you. So Trevor, dude, I think we freaking did her here, man.
All
So,
right.
dude, thanks again for jumping on. And dude, I think this will not be the only time that we have you on the podcast. So
Yeah, that'd
we'll
be
keep
awesome.
jumping.
I
And
enjoyed it.
yeah, now we have a little bit of the baseline, and then now we just kind of shoot the crap here moving forward and keep her
Yeah.
ripping.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be fun to do one like with me and Cole. I know you're talking about doing a separate one with him too, so that's good. But then maybe we do one down the road
Oh,
with
dude.
both of us, and maybe we'll have you on our little rinky dink podcast too.
Dude, would love to, man. Hey, we'll plug the podcast here, man. I'm literally just on the last 10 minutes of your most recent episode. So I'm a
Okay.
I'm a weekly list or whenever it comes out listener.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
let me know. Hey dude, I'd be happy to. So
Yeah, we're trying to do one a month, and again, like it's just for fun. We're not trying to really go anywhere with it. It's mainly for us just to have an excuse to talk because we used to live 5 minutes down the road from each other. Now we live 3 hours from each other. So it's nice to be able to have an excuse to sit down for an hour and chat. So it's just
a
the
big fan.
Westwoods Hunt Pod, wherever you find podcasts, and it's just us. Who knows what we're going to talk about? So yeah,
Dude, well, it's a lot of good information, man. So I definitely suggest anyone out there give it a listen and go and follow Trevor at Westwoods on Instagram too. And there you go, man. Dude, well, thanks again for
yeah,
hopping on, dude. And hey, we'll be chatting soon.
sounds good, dude.
Talk to ya.
Later.